we are looking to put a dog in the best home possible. So if we have a 60-pound, high-energy, flat-coat retriever, and somebody in an apartment who's going to be away for 10 hours a day applies for that dog, that adoption will not happen. And really the mission behind the adoptions program is to make sure when that dog leaves this property on that trailer and arrives in a city somewhere across the country, that is the last time that dog will ever have to go to a city shelter. We want to make sure that that match is perfect. My adoption volunteers make sure that those people are qualified applicants, and then every single approved applicant will go and speak to Kerrie, and she will make sure that those people are matched with the right dog.
Our application process is very thorough. It does take a lot of work to fill it out, and we ask a lot of detailed questions. It is imperative to us though, because they come from the pound and we don't want them to end up there ever again.
In 40% of the cases, somebody will wind up adopting a dog other than the one they've applied for. And interestingly enough, Kerrie's, I call it a return rate, which is where the adoption does not work that we've done. The rehome rate, return rate is less than 2%. And I think that's monumental when you're talking about over 4,000 dogs that people have adopted without ever once seeing, touching, smelling, interacting with. I think she has an uncanny ability to make matches that no one else I've ever met has been able to do. We pick our adoption locations using a very basic formula that I started 6 years ago. I try to find a major metropolitan city because we need a critical number of applications to get to 50 or 60 adoptions. We picked Buffalo because we had a lot of Canadian citizens who expressed interest in adopting our dogs. We've never gone to Buffalo before, and it seemed like we would have access to, people in Rochester and Syracuse, maybe as far as Albany. It will give those who live north of the border in Canada kind of an easy entry point into Buffalo. If they wish to adopt one of Tracy's dogs, they can do it pretty easily in Buffalo. So we thought we'd like to do that every year. We'd like to expand to at least one different market that we've never gone to before. So I am always looking for new markets where there is a demand for those types of dogs and where they do not have an overpopulation problem like we do down here in San Antonio. We just picked up 45 to 50 dogs, I believe. Tracy pulls the dogs, pulls them up here, and then her and Kerrie are responsible for getting everybody healthy, getting everybody matched up in the right groups. So we will have some surprise dogs. It's funny, every time we do one of these intakes, we look at a dog and say, that dog's gonna get adopted in a second, and they might be here 4 months. And then we'll bring in a dog and think, oh boy, this one's gonna be here at Camp Tracy for a little while, and he's the first one adopted.
They're all special to me, so every single one of them. But one that really stands out to me, he had an embedded collar in his neck, and he was just the happiest dog. And when I took a look at his neck, it just broke my heart. You can tell that somebody put a collar on him, and as he grew, never took it off. And it was so embedded in the neck that when I got him, all raw and just infected. So he's healing now and he's doing very, very well. Fabulous personality, so I think he's gonna do well finding a home, and he'll never have to live like that again. Homer is the little puppy that I found lying in waste with his siblings on top of him. And I thought he was gonna die. So I was already full, the van was full, and I was like, oh, I can't leave that puppy there. I cannot. So I took him. I didn't take the siblings. Another group took the siblings. I took Homer because I thought he was going to die, and I didn't want him to die like that. So I brought him here and put him in foster care, and so Homer is now getting a home as well. There's also a dog named O'Malley that was at the Brownsville shelter that when I went down there, he is one that had stayed there longer than normal. And as soon as I stopped by his kennel, his entire body, I mean, it just wiggled from head to toe, and I was looking at him and I just had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, how could I not take that dog? Hardy, he actually came in with his sibling Laurel, and I would say these two are reserved and take a little bit of warming up. It's just gonna take some adjusting for him. He just needs somebody that's patient, that's not gonna push him, let him come to you. He'll be okay. Ginny has got a heart of gold. Ginny's been with us for a long time, and sometimes you wonder, why has nobody picked Ginny yet? And I have no explanation for that, other than I know that because she has waited for so long, the person that finally is getting her on this trip, it's because they've been looking for her for a long time. They're special, and she's going to be going to a fabulous home. Simba could sit in my hand when he first came here. And he, if I remember right, was only about 1.8 pounds. And when I first saw him down there, his eyes were almost glued shut, and he was covered with mange. Just a tiny, tiny solo little puppy. But he had the fiercest appetite. And so I called him Simba because Simba, hear me roar, you know, he's just got that fighter type personality. And now he's about 20 pounds. So that one, when you bring up the name Simba, even though I know what he looks like now, what's burned in my memory is that little 1.8 pound peanut.
For the trip, because then I can have, I can start putting on name tags.
Yes.
Unless they move around, but they're removable. It is travel day today. We're going to Buffalo. It's always filled with a lot of emotion, an awful lot of emotion. It's exciting, it's fun to get everybody out of here, get them into their new homes, but there's a lot of stress.
We start preparing usually about a week in advance, getting everyone's medical folders up to date and make sure everyone is current on their vaccinations and their flea and tick preventatives, things like that before they head out, and make sure that's all recorded.
Okay, so I have to vaccinate Macy, Roscoe, Layla.
We didn't bring the pen guys through yet, did we, Charlie? Okay, they'll be last. Yeah. So we'll just walk them through here because some of them have to have their last vax.
And then the day of departure is a little bit of a scramble. Today we had 62 loaded up, and it's a team effort for sure, making sure everyone gets on the trailer, gets in their spot, and then we do final checkoff, and then off they go.
We're probably gonna cry, really. I mean, I've got glasses because a lot of the ones that are going on this transport just right here. So I think little Bloom is probably gonna really get me. She's a blind little Shih Tzu, and we didn't know she was blind when she came in, but she just had some weird movements like spinning. We weren't quite sure what was going on with her other than she looked like she had been starved and was very dirty, and she just broke my heart because she was wagging her tail, and as soon as I picked her up, she snuggled, and you would think because she can't see, she would be trying to bite, and she doesn't have a mean bone in her body. Bloom, you know why I have glasses on, right? She can't see you, but she knows you're there. I know, Bloom, you hear that's your mama. It's just 48 hours, right?
48 hours.
She'll be home.
She'll be home.
Today's mission will be staffed with my two daughters, Jen and Sarah. They've done a number of these trips, and I feel real comfortable having them aboard. The only thing that really concerns me is traffic, weather, mechanical, and trying to get the dogs there happy and safe and healthy over 1,650 miles. So it's a little nerve-wracking. We want to make sure all of that is as controlled as possible because I want to get to Buffalo on time. On the next episode of Dog's Journey Home.